Hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope you like this video. It's something I've never done before, so we'll see how it goes. But if you do like this video, at the end, please hit like and subscribe. Thanks so much.
Just because somebody in your life won't believe in you. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know when you do it, you're going to have to do it all by yourself.
Hey, how are you doing? I am Jennifer from Scenic. I am also a DIY paint retailer from Debbie's Design Diary, and I'm bringing you a couple of projects today. So being a creative, I'm originally a furniture artist, but being a creative, that means that my mind goes crazy pretty much all the time on different ideas, and so I just get distracted easily and have so many projects in my mind that it's hard to complete them all. So today I'm pretty excited. I did think of this project to do for a little girl's birthday, but I thought, well, when I'd seen other people do it, it seems like part of it is being wasted. And so my solution was to multitask that project in particular. And so it is a paint pour dipping method, if you're familiar with all the crazy videos on what you can do with that. And what I plan on doing is using the main portion where you pour the paint down as a stamp for maybe 2, maybe 3 projects to not only to use the paint, but I mean, it seems like to me, the videos that I've watched, that the part that they put the paint on, the discarded part, looks like just either a large piece of paper or something like that. Some of them it's hard to tell, but it seems like that might be being thrown away. I mean, they might cut it out and frame it. I'm kind of hoping they do, but it seems like that part to me looks almost better than what they stamp it on. And so my thought was today was to maybe have a couple of items ready to go for the excess paint, because I don't like to waste things, but also the prettiest part is not necessarily the actual object that I've seen so far in other YouTube videos, and I'm hoping to create 2 or 3 projects with this particular idea. So my idea is actually putting the paint itself on this and use this as a stamp. So in the videos that I've seen, they're pouring the paint out. It looks like a big piece of paper, like I said, and this is actually going to be the finished project. So they press it down and they do all that. Well, what happens to that? Because a lot of times that looks prettier. And so I have with me a t-shirt that is about the same size as this canvas. And then my original birthday project that I wanted to even start all of this with was this box that you can get at your local craft store. Inexpensive box, but they become very pretty when you start painting and adding your touch to them. And hopefully the person that is this is being given to will use it as an heirloom piece or whatever, just a keepsake box, and it'll be it'll just be something in their homes where they can just reflect back on and enjoy for years to come. With this project, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I am a DIY paint retailer, and the colors that I'm using today is Old 57. It's a very, like an aqua green blue, pretty color, very bright and vibrant. And Kissing Booth, this is like a purpley dark pink, very popular. Queen Bee, love this color, like a bright mustard yellow, I don't know, but very bright yellow. It really stands out. And one of my favorites is Bohemian Blue, love this. This is a very dark teal color. And my backdrop, of course, is going to be white, and today I'm using White Swan. I did go ahead and mix these colors in little containers. I would prefer squeeze bottles if you have them, or if you have, if you think ahead of time, get little condiment bottles that can save this for other things, because I'm gonna have to figure out what to put this on if, or put this in rather, if I don't use it all. And so what happens when you mix this, you can save the excess for later if you have a squeeze bottle, and the squeeze bottle would actually be easier for the design that I'm going to be creating. And so I have all my colors in little containers, like I said, and I mixed, actually I mixed less than half of the DIY paint with a Floetrol than you normally would with most other paints, because the DIY paint has more pigment in it than any other paint product out there so far. And so with that, I didn't even have to use as much paint as you normally would. And so I'm hoping this consistency is good enough. It's very thin. Thin pancake batter. So if you see that in there, so this was probably a teaspoon of paint with 2 or 3 teaspoons of the Floetrol. And so the white is actually half and half, and it's pretty, you can see that there, it's pretty watered down. And so I'm going to use this as a base. And I believe, I hope this works. Honestly, this is the first time that I've done this method, and especially trying to make 2 or 3 projects out of it. So I might be, I don't know, pushing my limits or whatever, but I'm hoping this works. But if not, it's just paint, and these are all inexpensive things that you can get at your local craft store. And if it works, then I'm gonna have 2 or 3 projects done at once. So let's just see. So first off, I'm going to apply the paint to this regular canvas right here. This is an 8x10 canvas. And so I'm going to pause this so I can get you guys set up to where you can actually see what I'm doing. All right, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and mix a little bit of the Bohemian Blue and the Queen Bee together, because I realized that I need a leaf color. So that's no big deal. Yellow and blue make green, because the green that I have available to me right now is the Gypsy Green, and I just didn't want that shade in this project. And so I might actually lighten that up a little bit with the old 57. Yep, that will do. So just made a little bit of green for the leaf. Like I said, this is going to be the dip project. Hadn't done this before. Don't know if it'll be a just a colorful blob or not. And so I'm just going to experiment. And that's fun. That's the fun thing to do, and that you're able to do with art. Just experiment and have fun, try new things. Like I said, the base, I'm going to be using the white here, the white swan. I'll just go along all my edges here. This does not have to look neat, but it does have to be covered in case I want to move things around a little bit with, if there's an excess paint when it's all said and done. If I want to move the paint around a little bit, the covering it will allow for movement with the paint. And so you just cover that like so. Just blob it on there, spread it out with a brush, or you can use like a tiny palette knife, just whatever you have, just to get it to spread it around. That's what I'm going to do with that. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more white to this, just so I have plenty to work with. And as I was thinking about this even more, I'm thinking that I will do the jewelry box next. So this is going to be my stamp, and I'm going to do the jewelry box next. And then, since the jewelry box I needed to dry quicker than any of this other projects because the birthday party is actually coming up soon, I'm going to use this shirt that I have here as kind of like just to soak up the paint. And so the shirt, actually, if you get too much of the DIY paint on it, even though that the color will soak in like ink, if you don't get the colors mixed right away within the first time doing a paint project with a shirt, that some of the color does wash away, because, you know, t-shirts you're going to wash. You're not going to wash canvas, so everything on a non-washable surface is going to be much more color rich than clothing. But we've had very good luck with fabric, and so, but you just have to get all the paint done. You can't like let one layer dry, is what I'm trying to say, and then paint another layer. The layer beneath will actually be the one that stays with painting on fabric. And so here I go with, I'm going to do a flower design. And like I said, I really think that squeeze bottles will be better for this, and you could be more accurate. But we're just gonna see what this ends up looking like. I'm gonna do little areas out here for the leaf. Even though this is the bohemian blue, I'm gonna go over these parts with the green that I mixed from the queen bee and bohemian blue. And then I'm going to add a center to this. The queen bee is actually thicker than the rest of my paint, so I either didn't get it mixed good enough or didn't add as much Floetrol to that. And so that's just something to think about as you're doing this. So I'm going to pour my green over the area and then add a little bit by itself in places as well. And this will be like an abstract painting. It doesn't have to be perfect. And like I said earlier, that's the joy of art. And so this is what it's going to look like. So bear with me putting it on this. So we will see. Let's see, I'm going to move this out of the way. And I might just actually drip some of the white on there too. I think that you could probably do anything that you want and it's just going to look cool. It doesn't have to be exact, because then you can just call it abstract art. So I'm taking the lid of my keepsake box and I'm just going to press it down on this canvas. Try to get even as possible as I'm lowering it, because I do kind of want to line it up, make sure that it's hang on actually. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm I'm gonna paint, I almost forgot, sorry you guys. I'm going to paint the top of this with this white, because that's what I've seen on other videos. Yes, I'm borrowing somebody's idea. People are so creative. And that's what you do. You get inspired by everybody. I mean, everything. I mainly get inspired by nature itself. And take my favorite objects of nature and try to mimic what God created. So this was somebody's idea. I have no idea who. And we as artists appreciate other artists, or I do, and the group of people that I'm friends with online, we appreciate each other as well, and so we share ideas and whatnot. I'm gonna get the front part of this box, and this is what I'm doing. I'm sorry I didn't show you. So this is what I'm doing with this. I'm just painting the top of this and just getting it kind of thick on there. And so, all right, and now scoot you guys back down. This is going to be a stamp. So my canvas is going to be kind of like a transfer. So I set it down. And I think if I don't spill everything, I'm going to try to turn this up like this so you can see it. And in the video that I seen, they had a card kind of going back and forth. I forgot to get one because I didn't really know how I was going to do this. And so what I'm doing, I'm just kind of pressing on this, kind of moving the paint around. And then also in the video that I seen, they slowly lifted up on the canvas itself from their painted surface. And so, yep, it kind of peels off. So now that I've done it, so that's kind of cool. And look, this is what I was talking about. This looks prettier than the box. And so I'm not sure what the people do, the other artists do in their videos, but this is why I wanted to create 2 or 3 projects. I think this looks amazing, and I'm hoping the shirt will look just as amazing. And so I'm going to set this down here. So this is art project number 1. This is art project number 2. And what I'm going to do with this is go along and add a little bit more white here. And there's a lot of paint to work with. And so I'm absolutely thinking this is the neatest thing I've seen in a while. And I'm so glad that we tried it. And so that's my whole point, is you got to try stuff. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this paint off, and I'm going to go for this t-shirt right now. So this is just a plain t-shirt that I picked up and planned on painting somehow. And so this is just, it being the size that I need, that's just kind of what I was going for. And so I'm just going to lay this on here like this, lay it across the design, and pat again. And oops, so I need to be careful. because it's going to, I didn't think about that. So put something in between whatever project that you work on. So put something in between the front and the back. That was my bad on that part because I had never done this before, and so a little bit of blue specks on the back ain't gonna be horrible. So what I'm doing, I'm just holding the shirt up off of my project here, and I hope, all right, I'm gonna lay it down real quick and then peel it off. Ha. So there's art project number 2. And here is art project number 3. And I'm just gonna say that this didn't turn out as good as what I thought, because I used 2 different things. But I think what I'm gonna do is just put that back on here. And so, like I said, this is just a learning experience here. I'm gonna put this shirt over here so I don't mess it up. Place this back on here and make sure that I have, I think I have that the right way. Because this canvas still has loads of paint on it. It really just sticks on there. So, and that's it. I was able to salvage this because I wasn't sure if I was going to, honestly. I was just holding my breath. And I was able to make this beautiful again. And so I was able to get 3 projects from this. So that was touch and go for a little bit, and that's okay, because you know there has been times in my art projects, in my furniture art projects to be more exact, where I'm like, oh no, I've completely messed it up, and then turns out thankfully most times that mistake has turned out being better in the long run. So that's happened with a few of my projects, and that's okay. You know, that's what artists do, is they just learn from their mistakes and then go above and beyond that, because just having a creative mind, I think you're just able to collect your thoughts and just do something, either go completely different direction with whatever you're working on, or just make whatever your mistake was better. And so I'm just super blessed to do what I do, and I really hope that you guys watch this. I'm going to go through and show you the projects that we created again. So I'm going to call this tutorial the 3-in-1, because I'm glad that it worked out, because I used very little paint, and like I said before, the beginning of the video, the DIY paint is so color rich that it's just, you can do so much with it and just use a little bit at a time. And so I'm just going to go through the projects, like I said, again. So this was what I started with. This is what I put all the paint on to begin with, and it became like a stamp or a transfer. And I think it looks gorgeous, even the second go around. And so I'm going to put that aside. And then I put that canvas, or put the jewelry box on the canvas and flipped it over. And then here is this. That's how that turned out. It's just gonna be cool. And so I'm gonna paint the edges and blend all the parts that look faded a little bit, because the Floetrol does thin down the paint some. But I'm glad that it doesn't make the paint any less vibrant. And so there's that project. And then project number 3, I was able to make a cute t-shirt, one-of-a-kind t-shirt, for whoever little girl that wears a 5T. So I'm gonna have these items available in my Etsy shop. When I get them all, I'm gonna heat set the fabric. Just throw that in, let this dry flat, let the paint completely dry, and then you will probably want to turn it inside out and heat set it in your dryer for probably 20 minutes. And then it will be machine washable. It will fade some because it is on fabric, but it really does last so long. My son, he's 4, his favorite shirt is the one that he actually painted with the DIY paint that we made a dinosaur stencil with, and it's still as good as when we painted it. So other than just fading just a little bit that first wash, but it hasn't faded since. And so I have a keepsake box for a little girl that's turning 5. I have this t-shirt here and a canvas, 3-in-1 project. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you subscribe to our channel. We also have a social media with Facebook and Instagram. I'll supply the links to those, and we have a website. So we're trying new things every day, and just hope that you guys like them and share what you create. And also I'm going to provide you with a way to purchase the paint if you do not have a local supplier to support. So with that, please subscribe and like this video, and we'll see you on the scenic route. Take care.